Welcome to Ocmaya, the Global Paradigm Expansion Project. This video is about the pillars of the project, so that everything that occurs in the digital museum exhibition, every sentence, everything that is provided as information should have these four pillars. There should be something integral about this. And these are only four. One of them is a lemma from the city I have lived most of my life, Leipzig. Two of them are principles that you would understand from the values of several organizations or different organizations. And finally, an approach, which is more or less the philosophical understanding of what we need to do, guidance in the approach. So the lemma, you could say it's similar to a motto. I take from the city hall, the new city hall of Leipzig, and it's in Latin. It essentially means that you must be firm in the matter, you must be very resolute in the matter itself, but the way that you do it, sometimes this is also mentioned, that be gentle with the people. The way that it should be done is not really in an aggressive manner, let's say, so suaviter in modo, it's smooth and constant with oneself, so that it's integral, it's not haphazard or random, and it's not forever changing, that it does have some kind of base. And firmly in matter, it's that one must stay focused. So the project is to expand the global paradigm. So it's not really easy, and it's not really focused on a specific branch of science, given that it uses modern science, which is more or less applicable across all branches. So it may be difficult to stay focused and to use these goals and bases. And I have some what should be sirens. And very important is I do not want to have any type of fall into the sirens, into the temptation of representing a specific point, which would make it ever more easy. So if you represent a specific political party, or if you represent a specific school of thought, then it's just absolutely easier to do anything. So it's should be focused on the basis and the goals, and that's on the people and on the usage of contemporary science. And gentle in the manner. Also very important is that this is not supposed to be, or should not be, sensationalist at any point. So sometimes I have been advised that more people would watch videos if you name specific companies, or if you blame specific people, but that's not the point. And here it's actually want to change the paradigm, not accuse people or specific ways of thinking. That's beyond the point. So no one is, and this is one of the reasons I also do something that's quite unpopular, not use a lot of examples, right? Which I could use a lot of examples with specific companies and specific actions, but I try to not. As constant with oneself is integral, right? Consistent across the board, using, like I told you, the scientific basis, or at least that what we have a consensus of. And using judgment and logic to constantly have some kind of qualitative base that's not just something that someone wrote on the internet, but more that things that brilliant minds, be it historic or current, have actually developed and understood from our world. So that's the lemma. So that's deeply, deeply encouraged and influenced by my city of Leipzig, where I have spent most of my time. The second is accessible empowerment. So first means that it should be accessible for everyone. It should be available for everyone. So no cash should leave the pockets of people who want to access this information. Naturally, it will have a cost. The cost is the time of people. Right? So I want to be very, very integral. It's not completely free in that sense. You must spend some time and make time for yourself, but it should not need any money out of your pocket. Also, it should be individual human-centric. So it means that it's going to acknowledge the complexity of the human being beyond just the simple models that we have since centuries ago. It's increasingly complex or we have increasingly research that understands that the human is extremely complex. It has a lot of biases. Humans have a lot of influences, and it's really, really difficult to predict the behavior of a single individual at all points. And it's the most complex thing that we have anyway in the world is the human brain, and every brain is individual. It's based on individuals, not on models that are useful under certain circumstances, but not under this circumstance. And in the near future, there will be different languages, mainly Spanish and German, besides the current English, so that everyone that speaks Spanish and German can actually access these, and eventually in the future, hopefully other languages. Just to summarize, the accessible empowerment is, well, very, very important. It's not providing solutions, it's providing access to possibilities and the actual increase of possible choices. Now, I was a bit turned up by the second principle, but I think it's something that I should discuss. Probably honesty would be sufficient, because frankly, I don't understand the specific difference between honesty and radical honesty. It's like mentioning that a woman is radically pregnant or simply pregnant. I wouldn't really understand the differences, but apparently it's needed under what collectively can be understood as honesty, in terms of being too direct and thus creating pain for people through directness. So here, what I want to encompass is that we should be really self-aware, not in terms that we should hurt other people and being direct. Remember, gentle in the mode, right? Gentle in the message, but more in terms of eliminating the most or as much as possible the notion of self-deception. So we have a lot of baggage, of luggage in the way we interpret the world. and it's radical in terms that it's in the roots, right? Not extreme, but in the roots. Even though, again, collectively radical now is very, very much a synonym of extreme. I want to use the definition of radical, which is using roots, not something being extreme. Unconditional positive regard. So this essentially means that there is not going to be much negative actions or negative ideas. This is something very, very common today where you have some kind of panic, right? So panic doesn't help anyone at any point, really, or at least in 99.9% of the situations. So here it's just a positive regard. We take things as they are, and then we have solutions. And, well, I mean, you have the choice to develop your solutions, but you have a choice, right? So you have the ability to change your situations and open communication. So this is in terms of co-creation. I have done a lot of iterations. I have done a lot of communicating with colleagues, with friends, and at the end, it's about getting also feedback, which could be integrated into improving the output. So these are the two, right? To be make it available and empower. So accessible empowerment and radical honesty. The two principles, and now we go to the approach, which is also explained in the video that is the origin of Ocmaya. So I wanted to just show a different version here. So the idea is the approach is to stop and think. So the main point of the Ocmaya is to present a space which is very deeply personal, where people can stop. So if you look at this word in German, it's verstehen, which essentially translates to understand. But the idea or the original, the version of this, the etymology, comes from the word stehen. So if you keep doing the same things, or if you have some kind of inertia, this may not allow you to really understand the issue. And this is one of the main things that I want to say over and over and over again, the need to really, really stop and not carry, at best, any of the inertia. You can carry experiences, you can carry knowledge, but not the inertia of already having some kind of preloaded answers, right? So that's the point of thinking. So the idea is to create this space where people can move freely, right, as they can, and make their own choices. I offer 0 solutions. I do the difficult part in design thinking, right? If you know design thinking, the one where you have to really understand what you're dealing with, but for a global version of that. And the idea is obviously not to provide a solution for you, or even try to influence, as much as show you the notions of how the world actually works, right, through contemporary science. And this should not influence you in terms that I will know what you actually come up with. It will influence you in terms that, now you have a paradigm which can allow you to excel in complexity. And thus, this space will allow you to do the most lonely activity that you can, which is thinking. It is engaging in a conversation with yourself. And well, this approach is essentially the manner or the direct way in which Ocmaya can actually reach its goals. So in essence, these are the pillars, and this is just important as an information so that you understand that these are choices that I made, and that I'm not really looking for things that are sensationalist or things that are defending a specific paradigm or a specific school of thought or a specific company or even a specific region in the world or have interests in a specific matter. And I hope that this is then clear and maybe, in a sense, somewhat interesting for you.